So the major ways to influence things are, I would say, interact with the community to get them to understand what PFAS are. Like, my parents did, so I researched PFAS. I was telling them, like, don't do these things. They didn't trust, or like, they were just like, whatever. Then they watched Dark Waters and were like, holy cow. So, I think sometimes having the media there to let them know or explain things that way, or to just try to bring awareness of the situation to people is really important. Have them understand the sources of contamination, like where are you going to encounter most of your PFAS, and like how can you not encounter those things. I think that's the biggest uptake, and to try to have people understand, like, purchasing objects is a huge way to change things. Like, if you don't like Nike's stance, quit buying Nike. It will hit them in the pocketbooks and it changes things. It's like Home Depot no longer has PFAS coated carpets because there's been enough outcry about it and complaints about it that they won't do it anymore. So sorry, I'm just trying to find a couple of pictures of some stuff. Let's see, we'll work on this one. Yeah. So, like, the other thing is like, people in Michigan, big hunters, big fishermen, they have advisories to not eat deer because they're so contaminated with PFAS. Looking at Home Depot, they're phasing out all products that they know contain PFAS because they're just trying to eliminate that sort of stuff. The government is also really big because they're like the number one reason most people are exposed. Like, there's the chemical manufacturers, then the government said, yeah, you can dump a lot of this stuff in different spots. And then if you know anybody in the military, they practice fighting fires with this firefighting foam. And that is a mixture of PFAS.
I think I heard of this, yeah. I think I heard a story where they, like, were pouring into, like, the lakes, like it was going into the lakes where they were getting their drinking water from.
Yep.
And it contaminated their drinking.
Yeah, and the thing is it doesn't break down, it just stays there. So the other thing is being in urban areas. If you live in an urban area, there is PFAS in your water. There is no other way to get around it. Like, you have it. The closer to industry and civilization you are, you're going to have more contamination. And the only other way to get rid of it is through carbon filters. Like, it will pull it out of the water. So if you live in a highly contaminated area, like, use carbon filters, like Brita water filters and stuff like that, and that'll knock most of it out for you. And the other big thing is the lack of understanding of PFAS in the human body is huge. So we know maybe 2 of them pretty well, but there are over 8,000 that we know of, and they're definitely way more than that. Like, they're if you do all the possible permutations, there's about 500,000 different molecules. When they make these things, they don't make them one at a time, like most chemicals. They make them in big batches. They really don't care what they are because their properties do exactly what we want them to, either for lubricants or stain resistance or for fighting fires. They're really good properties, and that's the issue is that they're really good at what they do. The big problem is we have no idea about them. So what my research group does, we try to help people identify. So, have you ever heard about a GCMS, or like have they ever talked to you in high school about it or no?
No.
Okay. So, have you ever watched like any of the CSI shows?
I don't think so.
Okay. That's all right. It's actually two instruments that are slapped together. There's a GC or a gas chromatograph, and then there's an MS or a mass spec. What the GC's job is to separate things out. So you see that thing there?
Yeah.
What's it look like to you? You can get close.
This looks like a bunch of like copper wires coiled together.
Yeah, this is actually fused silica.
Oh.
It's like a straw. And what happens is the molecules, based upon their size and charge, ping pong around in that thing, and then they hit that detector. And that detector takes like a fingerprint of the molecules.
Oh.
So what happens is, let's see. Let's see if I can get it to come here. There we go. Let's just find something. What ends up happening is you get signals. So there are two different things in this mixture. If we do this down here is actually a fingerprint. That's how we get the mass of whatever's going into that system. So it tells you a molecular weight, and based upon this fragmentation, you can actually identify what it is. So this compound is most likely that guy. So this is GCMS. What researchers commonly use is LCMS. GC for gas chromatography. What do you think the L stands for?
Light?
Not light. It's a gas. What other?
Liquid.
Yeah, liquid.
Yeah.
It operates under the exact same principles. You have a column where we had that silica thing that was all wrapped around. We have that guy right there.
Oh.
Oops. Hopefully I didn't mess with Dr. Rupert's thing if it's running. What happens is you inject samples in these vials. There's a little syringe that comes through, sucks them up, puts them into this thing. Then it makes it over to the mass spec, and it does the exact same thing. You get a thing. Now, PFAS are not volatile. They won't go into the gas phase easily, so you have to use LC. LC is not as sensitive, like you can't tell as much information as GCMS. So that creates a problem where you really can't identify the PFAS super well. And if you think you found a new one, you don't really know what it looks like. You can't tell what it's breaking apart into. So what you have to do is get an analytical standard. You have to have that molecule by itself. And we have lots of standards. You can buy lots of standards. For example, here, this is a pesticide standard. It's got a bunch of chlorinated pesticides. They come in these little vials, and they're made with specific amounts associated with them. But those things have to be able to be made individually. PFAS are not made individually. We don't know how to make PFAS individually. We make them in big, unknown batches. So if we don't have the standards for them, we can't identify them. That's where the problem is, of trying to figure this stuff out. So my computations help experimentalists try to figure some of those things out. They're always constantly trying to make new standards, and they're finding really ingenious ways to identify those things. So, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, this is basically how they identify those things. And like I said, when we're asking, will they ever have to take like a home kit test? No. Because you need one of these.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
This instrument is $120,000. This one is $300,000.
Wow. Okay.
We have our undergraduates utilize these things in their chemistry classes because that's how they get trained. That's how they'll make money. But you're not gonna find this in somebody's garage.
Yeah.
Okay. Except for, I don't know, do you ever watch Niall Red on YouTube? Okay. There's a lot of chemistry demos. He has one in his garage, but he's a bit different. other people are trying to find ways to break them apart and bust them apart. And then other people are trying to figure out, like, are they dangerous? So my group's trying to figure out which ones are dangerous. Are they actually dangerous? Are there certain ones that are, like, are they not as bad? Can we find the most dangerous ones and focus on those ones first because they're the most deadly? So, yeah, I would say it's the current state of things. Sorry, I kind of rambled on.
Oh, no, it's very interesting, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any other questions?
No, I think that's all, yeah.
Okay, cool. I'll try to bring that movie for you so you can watch it.
Thank you.
Yeah, but it's called Dark Waters.
Okay.
Yep. It's got Mark Ruffalo in it.
Oh.
And I got this guy to come. So it's based upon a lawyer named Robert Billet. And he fought with DuPont and Dow and a couple other chemical companies. He used to represent chemical companies. Kind of funny. But that's Robert. And this is a New York Times article about him. There you go. And I got him to come talk at Anna's, like, after we showed the movie and whatnot. It was funny because my wife was like, I got Robert Billet. And she's like, who the hell's that? I'm like, he was a big lawyer, yada, yada, yada. And she was like, not like impressed at all about the whole story because she really didn't know about it. And I'm like, Mark Ruffalo plays him in this movie. And she's like, oh, Mark Ruffalo. And I'm like, yeah. So I jokingly call him the guy who's played by Mark Ruffalo. And he thinks it's pretty funny. If you ever get a chance